Oh yeah, that's my transcription app.
It's missing a couple things. Go on. Let's
Yes.
keep going. Go on.
Can you just talk a little bit about the importance of the depth as the team heads into these stretch of games where some key component players are going to be missing due to international duties?
Yeah, look, I mean, we just have been battling injuries and had to reach into our depth before, so a bit frustrating to finally get some of these guys back from injury and then losing them again. I was really looking forward for us to having them back, not just on the training field, but obviously in games too. But that's just how it is, and that's when you play, when you're part of a good team, you will more than likely have guys who are going to go away with international duty. That's a sign of a good squad, good individual players, and I'm assuming, I've never had the opportunity, but I'm assuming it's always a pleasure and an honor to go and represent your national team. So wish them all the best. Hopefully they don't get injured, and we will have to figure things out.
So in regard to figuring things out, what do you think the team needs to do in order to be successful over these next few games?
Well, good thing is we have a little bit of time to prepare. We know what our availability is in terms of for the next game, and so it's putting that time in right now while we have the time to make sure that we are as prepared as we can come Wednesday, that we have our ducks in a row and we're gelling, we're feeling good. So but we've had a couple of players who are pretty versatile. I think Cody's played multiple roles, Kellen's played multiple roles, so that always helps if you can slot a guy in multiple positions, because he's been there, done that, and that kind of helps if you need to plug a hole somewhere.
How did you digest, take in that 3-3 in Charlotte? We'd had some really good play offensively, and then obviously some woes defensively, or just the goals that came in.
Yeah. Frustrating, I think, if you're taking the lead 3 times on the road, you want to take three points home. I think if you're able to score 3 goals in any game, you want to be looking at 3 points. But I think disappointing that we weren't able to do it. But again, I always try to look at the positives, and we've been struggling offensively. And for us to be able to bag 3 goals, 3 quality goals on top of that, that's a very positive sign. I think the message after the game in the locker room was that if we can replicate that offensively more or less throughout the games that are ahead of us, then we'll be looking good. I think defensively we have to, actually I think their third goal, we were a bit disorganized, but their third goal is a pretty good goal. Their second one, I think we maybe can push them a bit more wide, instead of allowing them to cut back in, and then the goal becomes wide open. First goal, we kind of switch off a little bit. So there's some tiny little mental lapses that I think we've done really well at throughout the year, and they kind of just showed up at the worst time in that game. But I'm not too worried about it. I think our defense as a whole has played quite well, and so if we can put the 2 sides together for a complete game, we'll be all right. But happy to see the offense clicking.
We've talked about a reset in the calendar, a stoppage of long time being a good thing, a bad thing, depending on how the team is playing. How would you assess this one for this particular team?
Oh, I mean, it would have been nice to maybe have a game this weekend, because we would have had more players available. I feel like we have players that are potentially training with us now and then leave right before we have a game, which kind of sucks. But again, it is what it is, and whatever it is, I think you always have to try to make the best of it. It does you no good to sit here and lament the situations you're in, and you wish you had this, you wish you had that, because you don't. So if you have rest, if you have time to prepare, if you have time to train a little bit more, which we were lacking over the past month and a half when we had so many games, then you got to take advantage of those things. So that's what we're going to try to do.
In the past, you've been snubbed of potential All-Star games, goalkeeping awards, and so that's probably not in your high priority. But this year you're leading the league in shutouts. You're having such a good season. What are your thoughts on maybe the possibility that this year could be when you get called up to the All-Star game?
I mean, it's always an honor when you get a nod like that as an individual. It also helps, contract negotiations. Not gonna lie, I mean, these are bargaining chips, and if you miss out constantly, then yeah, you don't have that on your resume, right? I think sometimes fans disregard the actual consequences of what these accolades can mean. And I think you should vote exactly the way to the people that deserve it. You know, I've already seen mentions of, oh, if Messi arrives, should he be in an All-Star game? Obviously, he'd be the best player there is in the league. There's no doubt about that. But there needs to be a certain accountability to, or path of how do you achieve these things, because they have real consequences. And if there is no path to achieving them, then what's the point? It can be frustrating, right? So I like the fact that our fans are involved. I like the fact that media is involved. I like the fact that the coaches are involved as well. Hopefully everybody takes it with the utmost respect, because yeah, there's some meaning behind it.
And last one, I mean, you just talked about your contract. That's coming to an end. You've been such an icon, such a pillar of this franchise. Have negotiations started with the team, and you know, what are your expectations or desires to remain with the team?
Look, I've made it well known that my family and I, we love it here, and you know, we've set down roots here, and we would like to stay here longer. I mean, you know, I would love to finish my career if I could. It's not really up to me, you know. I mean, partially it is. Try to do my best on the field and bring value to the team on and off the field as much as I can. But had a couple of small talks with Craig, my fellow Islander. But I'm not, you know, you have agents for that. You have people that try to deal with that. So my focus really is on trying to do the best I can on the field, and hopefully that means that I'm wanted and I can keep contributing to the squad. If not, I'm sure there's another team that would see some things that I might be able to bring to their team. So cross those bridges when you have to cross them, right? For now, I'm focused on every week and every game.
But is it more difficult to play with that uncertainty sometimes as a
of course
player?
It is. You know, careers, professional careers are fragile. I know that. You know, I took a wrong step and I worked back for a year and a half, only to take another wrong step and then be out for another year. You know, the careers are very fragile. You know, when you're in a career year and you throw yourself out there and a guy's knee catches your head and you get knocked out. Yeah, those are moments that, you know, they can change the course of the next. Well, it can be the end of your career. Let's put it like that, right? So it's nice when you have security. We all like to have security, but I signed up for a job, and I think for me, loyalty and honor is very, very important. And so when I sign up for something and I'm happy with something, I see it through. And I signed up for this job until the end of this year. I would like to sign up for more, but for now I'm focused on that.
What is the team heading into it?
Yeah, you know, it's bringing in more games, and I think the first thought was in preseason that a bit of frustration amongst the players, because you know, we were getting, sounds silly, but we're getting paid the exact same amount, but having thrown in way more games. Having said that, the bonuses look really good in terms of achieving something for a short period of investment. I think it's equivalent to winning MLS Cup, which is quite extraordinary. So if anybody needs that motivation, there's some motivation there now for that. I always find it intriguing to play against different competition from different countries. I think, what is it, Monterrey, Matt's at this year, and RSL, yeah. All too familiar with that one, but who knows what happens after that. So I think we'll treat it with the utmost respect and opportunity for guys to, you know, again, if they're motivated by that, to go chase some good bonuses, win another trophy potentially, but also for guys to get minutes. You know, we're gonna probably have to rotate there as well. There will be people that are missing for one reason or another, or just tired and need to rest, and that means some other person gets a chance to step up and show what they're capable of. So I think it's good. It's good quality. So it's not like we're playing a meaningless game. Those are good opponents, and I think everybody's going to be gunning for that trophy and that pocket money. Well, the format's changed quite considerably since then. So I think that was I can't remember how they chose who gets to play. Was it previous champions got to play in it. Was that what it was before? When we played Leon in Vegas?
Yeah.
So I don't know. It's just
no, it's just everybody.
It's a lot more games. Again, it's a lot more games, and it's I don't think 21 is plays into my head, at least. I know we have some players who weren't even there during that time. So our first game is Salt Lake, right? Our first game Salt Lake. So we know that one. We know how to prepare for that one, and then I'm excited to prepare for another opponent, a good opponent. That'll be something that we're looking forward to, or at least I'm looking forward to. So
you kind of talked about how it's important or really good that you're competing against other clubs, specifically facing Liga MX teams. How do you think that is important throughout the club's history, especially looking back at the CCL run that you guys had?
Yeah, I mean the Mexican teams, the Mexican League has been a powerhouse in this region for the longest time, and so for us to finally make some gains, I think consistently or more consistently get into the final for CONCACAF Champions League, finally being able to break through once, historic team there. That's all good, but I think the more you can have meaningful games where both sides really are buying into it, the better it is. I think the better it is for the market for both sides, and the better it is for the players and the competition against each other to raise each other's levels, right? I think Liga MX is trying to kind of gain a foothold in our market. Makes sense for them, for us. I think the more games we can play, we can measure ourselves against them and show that we are catching up on the field. So those are all positives. I think everybody's winning in terms of that function.
Last one. Are you looking for anything specifically in today's USA-Mexico game? Are you excited about any particular player thing that you're looking forward to?
I haven't even thought that far ahead. I have so many things to do in my yard. See if I get done and I can actually sit down and maybe enjoy the game. But no, again, it sounds silly, but you hate to see people get injured. So I want a good feisty match, because it needs to stay authentic. That has always been a feisty fixture or match. So that you can't lose that meaning. So, but it's nice if you can see everybody come out unscathed and be able to get back to their clubs afterwards. So yeah, that's what I'm looking for.